Hello everybody, welcome back, where today we're going to go over the principle of leading your shots in World of Tanks console. Now, first thing to get sorted straight away is I was hoping to use the fancy replay system that we have and slow the game down, slow some clips down so we can have some nice slow motion footage that demonstrates how, you know, the barrel's ahead of the target and all that. But no, the replay system isn't playing ball with me today. I don't know why. So I'm going to have to try and make do with just this replay footage that we have here. So this is an FV107 replay. And I am using the FV107 because it's sort of middle of the road difficulty wise for what I'm going to demonstrate here. So what are we demonstrating? Well, leading your shots. What does that mean? Leading your shot basically means that you want to shoot at where the target is going to be rather than where they are right now. Unfortunately, in this replay, we have a bulldog that's just about to appear any second now. There he is. And we immediately have a little demonstration of what I'm talking about. So there's the bulldog. I'm aiming ahead of the bulldog and a couple of my, 39 damage. That's one penetrating hit. And I got at least one bounced, maybe more bounced, I don't know. But what you saw me do there was I was firing. I wasn't firing directly at the bulldog. I was firing, excuse me. I was firing at where the bulldog was going to be in the future. And again here with the Type 62, I was aiming further as he was coming down the slope. I was aiming further down the slope than where he was immediately. And again here, I'm aiming ahead because I know that the travel time, because in the game, each ammunition type has a velocity in meters per second. So what that means is that once you fire, there's a delay, I suppose you could call it. There's a delay between the shot leaving the end, the muzzle, and arriving at the thing that you're shooting at. And your shell velocity will determine the time it takes to get from point A, to point B, the target. So we don't need to go into the mathematics of speed equals distance over time. We don't need to do that. But what you do need to know is that this isn't an easy process. This isn't an easy gameplay style because it's completely manual. There is no button you can press that will lead a shot for you. And just because you've mastered leading the shot on one tank doesn't mean that you can just jump into another tank and do exactly the same thing. Because like I've mentioned, each ammunition type on each tank has its own shell velocity. So as shell velocities change, the distance that you need to lead the shot will also change, which means you need to learn how each tank behaves. You need to learn how each gun behaves. And that's why this this isn't the easiest of gameplay styles to implement. But if you can practice this and you can make use of it, you will find yourself doing not a lot more damage. You'll be hitting more shots, which in some cases can mean the difference between you winning a fight and losing a fight. So there we have it. Right, let's jump into what makes this so difficult. Like I said before, I'm using the FV107, which is middle of the road, I would say. Middle of the road in difficulty. And now why do I say that? Well, the more shots you have available to you in a short period of time, the easier it is to pull this off. Now, I would say the BMP2 is the easiest, or anything with an autocannon is easy. Because if you miss the first 10 shots, you've probably got another 90 in the clip, another 190 in the clip, and you can just say, right, the first shot's missed, so I can just lead it a little bit more, and then you'll start hitting the target. And then if you go too far, you can say, okay, I'll just bring it back in a little bit. I'll just pull it back in, and you can get a feel for where you need to be aiming because you have so many shots available to you. Now those are those are auto cannons with 100, 200 rounds. The next, we're going to get gradually harder with this. So Next up, I would say we have the 107 here, because you have 6 shots available to you. Now, this is... Actually, no, I'm going to correct myself. The 107 isn't the next up. The next up would be any autoloader. Any medium with an autoloader. So the TVP 5051, the Bat Chats, the Lorraine 40T, and this is true for World War II as well. This isn't a Cold War thing only. Anything with an autoloader, because like with the 107 here, you've got 6 shots. So if your first shot misses, well, you've got another one relatively quickly, and you can, I'll eyeball it again, bang, okay, second shot hit, okay, I know what to do. Third shot hits, fourth shot hits. You might go too far with the fifth and sixth, but at least you hit 2 shots out of your clip. And here, this is taking down this bulldog. There we go. Actually, no, I didn't get that kill. Someone else did. Anyway. So yeah, a tank that is slower with a clip is, that's getting slightly harder. The 107 is next because even though you've got a clip of 6, you're going at almost 100 kilometers an hour. And typically, when you're leading a shot, you'll notice me doing this in this game. If I'm auto-locking, fine, third person is not a problem. You can just auto-lock third person, you're fine. But if you're leading a shot, you need to be in first person, which means your field of view goes from this lovely, wide third person view right down to the narrow, very narrow first person view, and your view is limited, which means that, like you saw me do earlier, you can be so focused on leading a shot that you drive straight into a house. And that's exactly what I did in this game, leading a shot. So, yeah, the 107 is the next hardest one to do, or type of vehicle to use, because it is so fast, and you've got to concentrate on leading the shot, you've got to concentrate on what's ahead of you, you've got to concentrate on your speed, and it can go wrong really quick. The hardest vehicles to learn to lead a shot in is essentially any tank that has a single shotgun, and we win that game with the death of the 4005. But the hardest tanks to do this in are, in my opinion, single shot, so mediums, heavies, any other light tank. And why is that? Well, it's because you've only got one shot. That's it. And if you lead the target and your one shot misses, you've got to wait 6, 7, and in World War II, sometimes 10 seconds, 13 seconds for another shot to come back. And in that time, whoever it is that's circling you, or in some cases, the light tank will be the one that's circling you, and that's why you need to lead a shot. In that time, a light tank can completely decimate you. And so that is why I think single shot guns, it's really difficult to nail this perfectly. So what I would recommend for, if you're relatively new to the game and you're trying to get a feel for this leading the shot principle, I would recommend you play a tank like the 107 or the BMP2 and just learn to keep driving. Well, you can do this stationary, but obviously a stationary target's an easy one to hit. Learn to drive the tank, aim at a target manually, and lead your shots. BMP2, like I've said already, you could do this with any of the autocannons, really. The Brennus and Era 2 premium French tank. You could learn to do that in this. Just manually lead the shot with the autocannon and just eyeball in where you need to be aiming. And that's the best way to learn, oh, okay, this is how this works. This is how this gameplay principle works. And once you can understand how the principles work with an autoloader, that's when you can switch to your main gun and say, right, I reckon about there, bang, the shot will go in. And the more you practice with your main gun, the more you'll get an idea of, okay, this is how far I need to aim to hit that shot. And obviously, how far you need to lead the shot will depend on the range to the target. So if they're a long way away, you'll need to lead it more because you've got a longer travel time. If they're close, you won't need to lead it so much because there is a shorter travel time. So there you go. That is, in a nutshell, that is the principle of leading the shot. It's a manual process that can be quite difficult to do, and it takes practice. So hopefully what I've spoken about today helps you guys. I hope it does anyway. And if you're new to the game and didn't know about this, then I hope this has been informative for you. So yeah, get out there, guys, with autocannons. If you're new to this, get out there with autocannons, because they're the easiest to eyeball in, and just keep practicing. This really does come down to practice. There is no easy 3-step plan to nailing every lead shot. It just doesn't work like that. This is all down to practice and the individual tank you're in. So maybe it's best for you to just pick one tank, play that, learn how that vehicle operates, how it behaves, and just get a feel for how leading the shot will work in that tank, and then move on to other vehicles. So there we go. That is all I have to say on leading the shot, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If not, a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.